Okay, this is going to be a weekly recap from the 20th to the 24th. There was no trade on Friday, so it was only the 20th to the 23rd. I felt like I wasn't really doing that well in terms of trading, but I think with this new thing that I've just thought about after, no, it's not after, it was right at Christmas Eve and Christmas when I was just trying to figure out a way to do dollar risk levels more efficiently. No, actually, it was on Thursday. It was before Christmas Eve, but I think that's going to help me a lot with my trading because I felt like I've not been having the best entries and also taking too time on certain ones. There were some stocks like I believe SBES, right? That was a nice morning panic bounce play that I missed to not today but the last trading day. Yeah, this one right here at 39. I think with the way I have my strategy now with morning panic bounce plays and how I might be able to enter in setups a lot faster because I have like a new shortcut for calculating risk levels, dollar risk levels, position sizing. I think it's going to help me a lot, but we'll see how that one plays out over time. I haven't released a video. It's going to be after this one, I believe, but yeah. Let's just go over the trades. I had 5 trades, 3 were green, and what I didn't like is that the one trade that at the very end, it was on a bad note. I didn't really do my best with this one right here. I could have done so much better because I could have gotten out of the position so much faster, but I think the rest of the week was fine for what it was. And yeah, let's just go ahead and go over the setups again. 3 were green, 60% winning percentage. I don't consider the stats too important when I don't have that many trades to that much data to play off of and see where I can find an edge. Less than half of my trades were according to my dollar risk level, which isn't that good, but I think with the way I'm doing it now, I'm probably going to be a lot better. And I'm going to change my dollar risk levels. I think for morning panic bounce play setups, I'll be at $15 and everything else is going to be $5. I just don't see myself being that profitable on setups that are not morning panic bounce plays. So I want to lower the risk to $5 there, and then I can continue to move forward. If I could be more profitable trading other OTC setups, then I can raise the dollar risk level. But for now, I'm going to actually lower it. And yeah, my average dollar gain was larger than my average dollar loss, and because of the fact I was having a winning percentage above 50% led me to a profitable week. But this one could have really been so much better. I could have been that much more profitable, and I could have been red. I could have had a red week if I did this one even worse, but my average percent gain was a lot better than my average percent loss, at least. I didn't count this one because it was going to, in theory, be a break-even trade, but I lost 3 pennies because of commissions. And yeah, this goes with the thing I was saying here. A $261 position. I don't like how that was the one that ended up being red, but again, I could have traded that one much better, and I'll go over that one in detail. Again, $2, almost 3, and just $500 of dollar volume traded. So I didn't trade that much in terms of dollar volume, and in terms of percentage, it's not too bad. It's just a lot of things I could have done better with this last trade. But let's go ahead and go over the setups, and the first one is ICOA. And this one is a fake morning panic bounce play. So let's look at ICOA for the 20th. Not the best OTC runner. This is the 20th. Had a nice run up from sub level 55 to 1.5 pennies, but anything that has like all of his baggage or just a lot of trading at a much higher price previously just doesn't seem to really work that well. But that was a trade I took there. Let's look at the 20th, which was this day right here. Let's just make sure I have that right. Yep, the 20th. So why was this like a fake morning panic bounce play? Because it does look like a morning panic bounce play setup, but it was also like a gap up. It was also like up on the day. It opened here. So I don't think this one really went red on the day, or if it did, it was slightly red on the day, but it wasn't like a normal morning panic bounce play where stock is up maybe like from 8 to 20%. This was not the case at all, and I played it extra conservatively for that reason. I was in at 942 at 139, so 942 was right here, 139. So why was I interested in it? Had a bit of a panic. I wasn't a part of this. This was just too quick. I didn't like the way it looked, and then it dropped even more, and I thought there was a better possibility that this one could be profitable. It did like a level 2 reversal. You know, it broke the bottom of the panic in theory here, and then these two candles didn't break lower, so this was like a level 2 reversal. I'm in at 139, and this candle at 942. That's how I play that one, and I got out of it completely at 944 with an average of 14. Let's just say 1412. 1412 at what was it again? 944. 944 was 1412. So right here was my exits. I did have, I believe, 2 sells. I'm not extremely sure if they was both in this red candle or maybe one here and one here, but I did sell in 2 pieces. Why? Because again, it's a fake morning panic balance play, not super ideal. Extra conservative for that reason. Could have gotten in at a better entry, maybe at 137 would have been nice, but I'm in at 139. Not a perfect morning panic balance play, a fake one. You know, not the best entry price, not the worst. And then on top of that, we have this crazy sell-off spike, you know, where it tries to make a run towards VWAP and then it gets sold into. So that's super bearish, right? So I got out of it completely for that reason, and that did keep me from this being an unprofitable trade, but I think I did everything well in that I traded it super conservatively. It did try to trade off of this range right here. You know, here's the new bottom, and then it breaks it here, and then it kind of comes back, but then it breaks it even more here, but then that doesn't get much lower, and then, you know, it kind of makes a crappy move, and then it drops more. Again, less consistent with something that is not a proper morning panic bounce play. That's down a nice amount on the day. This was not the case at all, but it did eventually make a move after one more final dip, and this stupid spike here with the wick. This thing would have gotten me out of it, you know, any interest into getting in this setup again, and that made a move from what, 136 to 15. But I hate the way this trades. That looks ugly. I'm glad I tried it there, and I'm also glad I didn't try it again because this thing wasn't an ideal setup. So let's look at the next one. ICOA, this was a dip buy, reversal long, and I was break even. Let's look at ICOA for the 21st. So the next day here, another red day, the 21st. Let's zoom out and see what the 21st was. It was this day right here. I'm going to just show this part of the day, but it looks like the rest of the day just kind of held itself together from the same range here. And my entry was at 1104 at 89, so it became a sub penny at this point. 1104 is right here. 1104.89 right here was my entry. So why was I interested in it? Well, I guess I had a morning panic bounce play here. I don't know if this one properly went red on the day. It probably did, but was it that much? I don't know, but it made a move from 104 to 116. I think I was watching it here, if not here, and it did just continue to downtrend, but I felt like the bottom was in at this point because there was so much volume, and the price action just showed that it wasn't going to be downtrending as much as it was before. At least, you know, that's what I thought, and I was right. But as you can see, this one took a long time to play out and make a move towards the upside. It did get run under VWAP, but that was a long time after my entry here at 1104.89, and I got in right here because I thought it was going to work right then and there. It looks like, you know, it had that massive bottom, big volume. It looked like it was going to turn around right here, but it didn't happen. I did ultimately get out of everything by the time it was 1113 at the same price. 1113 was right here. I was out, you know, at 89, the same 89 level as I was in right here. Basically break even. My sell here, my buy was right here, and you know, I just wanted it to really work out, but this thing just required more time to play out. It did have a little bit of a downtrend here, but it never broke the day low, and at that point it did eventually make a move, but there just wasn't that much volatility anymore in this OTC runner, and I think I traded at the best of my ability. It just wasn't something that just, you know, really played out. It was a break-even trade for all that the setup was. Let's look at TONR, and now these have been super profitable, or at least they seem to work a lot nicer than a regular morning panic bounce play. This is a morning panic bounce play, but a bit of a hybrid because it's a gap down. Let's go over TONR for the 22nd. Yeah, another one of those OTC runners that kind of had a not so good, you know, background here. Then it had this little move from 53 to 1 cent. But I liked this one because it had a gap down on the 22nd. And these things have been known to be super profitable. As you can see, here's the gap down. It closed here in the 60-ish sub penny level, and then it opens right at this level and gets as low as 43. So let's go ahead and highlight this right here. And I was in at 932, 445. 932 was right here, 445. So yeah, I guess I was gonna be in right here, 44, maybe right about here at 932. So when it's a morning panic bounce play with a gap down, you have to pretend like when it opens at its low price that the panic is already in, and you just want to see it, or at least the way I do, I want to see it hold a certain range. And at this point it was holding 43, so I got in when it looked like it was going to hold this level, an uptrend, and I was in again at 932 at 445, I believe. And yep, my exit was at 934, and that was at 4599. So let's just say 46. 934 I was out right here, 46. Yeah, pretty bad sell because of the fact, I mean, the thing got to freaking 53, and at no point it was even, you know, breaking my dollar risk level. This one just threw me off because of the fact that it was already above VWAP right here. You know, at what, 45, and I'm in at, you know, 44.5. So I don't like how VWAP was already there, how we're already above it. But I was just too chicken. I could have sold this thing for so much more nicer. Could have sold it at 48 pretty easily, I think, because that was at the bottom, still at the bottom, and that would have made me that much more profitable. But that's fine. And I did also trade a smaller position. I didn't get close to my $8 risk level at the time. It was 11. But that's the way that they are with OTCs that are sub pennies. They're kind of hard to trade accordingly. I guess in this case I would have had to have traded 20,000 shares to have been a lot closer. Again, I didn't trade a $15 risk level, even though it was a morning panic bounce play, because it's a sub penny. They just seem to be a bit more sketchy, but that wasn't so bad for what it was. And that was the setup right there. I could have sold this thing a lot better. That's why I put no as in, did I trade this thing well? I just, you know, could have held at least maybe like 5,000 shares and just let that one play out according to the dollar risk level, or maybe just my entry point. So worst case scenario, you know, I'm in the setup and maybe it doesn't make an uptrend, but you know, if it goes back to my entry point, I sell that for break even. But at least I gave myself an opportunity to sell at the highs, which this one did do. It made a nice move towards the upside for my exit, so I could have done a lot better selling there. Yeah, just not ideal because it was, you know, a sub penny and it was above VWAP, but should have had more confidence there. JWEL was a listed stock short. This one was cool because I shorted on Interactive Brokers. I think my first short with that broker. Let's look at JWEL for the 22nd. 22nd. You can see this is like a listed stock pump. It's pretty impressive. And look at the sketchy wick that it made. Super crazy stock. Yeah, just freaking crazy. Let's look at the 22nd, which is here. I'm going to highlight the whole day because there was just so much action going on. My entry was, this is a short setup, once again, 1050, 1734. So 1050 was right here. This first red candle, no, the second one actually, right? No, this first red candle at 1734 was my short right here. So what is this? This is like a number 6 pattern. Here's the number 4 big panic, number 5 the, you know, the bounce setup, and then number 6 is shorting the top of the bounce, and that's why I shorted here. And I barely held on to this position. It was just too rich for my blood. A bit scary because it's pretty out of my range to be shorting listed stocks, but I did take it and I like it because I learned a lot from it, and I'm very happy with the trade, even though I covered just 2 minutes later at 1701, which was right here, I believe, is when I got out. 1701 Right here was my cover. Right here was my short. Why did I get out so quickly? Because I saw it break 16, which was not 17. I saw it break not 16. I saw it break 17, and I didn't like how it broke under 17, got into 16s, but it came all the way back to 17, and I thought maybe this thing has a little more juice. Maybe this thing has a lot more room towards the upside before it's going to ultimately downtrend. Maybe this is a top for right now, but it's going to make another top. And it did make another move, you know, towards the high 17s, but it didn't break the wick that it made here. It did get to VWAP, which would have been my goal to cover into anyway if I still somehow held the position through all of this. And it also looks like a head and shoulders if you don't count the wick. Shoulder, head, shoulder, and that would have been more confirmation. But you gotta cover on these setups, man, because they are just really in a hurry to squeeze you towards the highs. And it did another squeeze towards the highs, another head and shoulder, shoulder, head, shoulder. And I remember I was thinking about shorting this run up. I think if you go back to the day I had the trade, the video I uploaded, I could have been really profitable there, but I don't mind missing it because it's just something that's out of my realm, and I want to keep focusing on morning panic bounce plays. But I think it's also good to just try other setups and try to gain experience in more than one area to really be the most profitable that you can be, just to try gaining experiences, because maybe learning something from a different setup can help you in an existing setup that's different. So yeah, that was a setup there. I didn't trade the bounce because I didn't see it. I might have considered entering here, but you know, I don't mind it either, because you know it's a pretty jumpy listed stock with a low flow, I believe. But that was a short setup there. Let's look at the last trade, which was a trade I didn't like. The setup didn't work out. I didn't trade correctly, and I wasn't even trading my dollar risk low. I was actually a little oversized. But let's go ahead and look at ILUS for the 23rd. If it lets me. Yeah, I don't really like this stock. I don't like the way it traded today, but this was it. And I traded this one right here. Let's go ahead and highlight it. It did make a move towards the upside, but I hate the way this one trades. Let's look at my entry, 932, and that was morning panic bounce play higher low, 932, 26.1. So I didn't trade this morning panic bounce play. I traded this, and my entry again was at 930. Oh, actually no, I might have the timing wrong here. Let me go back at my records and see what my entry exit is, because that would not be possible that my entry and exit will be that early for something that is not the morning panic bounce play. Right, it just wouldn't make sense. Let me see what the exact times are. I think I got that wrong. Okay, I checked with my notes. I have the right times now. I was in at 9:47, 26.1, which was right back here, 9:47, 26.1. So I was in right here, 26.1, basically right here. Why? Here's the panic bounce, and then I thought maybe a higher low, maybe it's gonna bottom here, which is higher than this, you know, panic bottom here. Clearly it didn't work right there, and my sell was, at least when I was completely out, because I unfortunately had a partial fill when I was cutting losses, but I could have been much quicker. 9:49 was my ultimate time when I was out, and the average is 258. So let's look at 258, 9:49. 9:49 was when I got out, right here, 258. So right here in theory was my exits right here, and I was in right here. And the thing is that the reason why I did not trade this one as well as I could have, again, me being in right here, and I ultimately got out in this candle right here, is because of the fact that when I was in the setup, first of all, I didn't want to be in the setup anymore. I kind of put an order at the bid at 26.1. It had this big spike towards the upside, and then it came all the way back down. All the yuppies who were buying it up right here, and I had my order at the bid at 26.1. I came all the way back to the bid, and I, you know, at the bottom here, and I got executed, and I thought, all right, well, I'm in the setup. I didn't want to be in it anymore because I didn't like how it went all the way up there, and then it came all the way back, but I was in it, and then 26 was the level to play off of, in theory, because it held 26 right here, and that's where it should at least try to hold and make a move towards the upside. But I didn't like how there wasn't a lot of people supporting it at the bid anymore. Maybe there was at most like a 2,000 share bidder, and then what happened is that right here at 948, ugly 100,000 share seller shows up at the ask. I should have sold immediately, but I hesitated and wait for 26 to break, and then when it broke, I was at least at that point really quick, or at least trying to quickly get out. I did get out half of my position at 259, but unfortunately I also had to sell the other half at 256 because I was a partial fail. What I could have done there is put a market order, and that would have gotten me out a lot better, a lot quicker, and that would have been more ideal. And that is something I believe you can do on Fidelity, to sell, to put a market sell order. That would have got me out of the position a lot better and more profitably. Sure, but the exit wasn't bad. The problem is that I didn't exit immediately when there was 100K sellers showing up at the ask and the bid was looking weak. Maybe if there was like a million share bidder at 26 and 100K seller shows up, okay, that's not ideal, but it's still in favor for a move towards the upside. But that wasn't the case there. I hesitated too long. I just didn't want to be in this stupid choppy thing, and then it just chops me out because some fake big seller shows up at the ask, and then I get out and then it uptrends. I didn't want that, but I should have just gotten out right then and there, because that's very unlikely for something to work if there's a big seller at the ask and there's barely anybody holding 26. But at least when it did break 26, I did really quickly try to get out of my trade, and had I have reacted faster and going from big 100,000 share seller to let's get out right now, for that reason I probably would have gotten out at a much better price. Even if we're just playing with little baby numbers, percentages, I just don't like the way, in theory, how I traded it for that reason. I won't make that mistake again, or at least I'll try not to, and then I can work forward. It did make the bounce eventually. It made a new bottom right here, and then it broke it right here, but then it broke it just a little more, but it wasn't able to get much further. Actually, let's zoom in a little more. Okay, so did it hold, or did it get under it? 2507. Okay, so it just briefly broke it. Here's the panic bottom. It briefly broke it, just a little. It doesn't even count, but here it did break it that much more. That could have been an entry point, or at least right here in this transition candle from the bottom to here, and then the wick of this one not being low, where these two were anymore. That would have made it ideal, especially here, how it tried to head towards the bottom again, but it wasn't able to. It held higher than these two levels. That could have been the setup I could have been in profitably, but again, with setups like this, I'm going to lower my dollar risk level to 5, and then on morning panic bounce plays, which I seem to do a lot better, I'm going to move that up to, or if not move it up, I think just keep it at 15. And I'm going to trade accordingly to the new way that I'm going to do dollar risk levels, so I can be in setups a lot faster. That's all I have, and let's see if we have any good setups one day. I think I have a long way to go, but I think I'm on the right track.